Hi there ladies, and welcome to part 2. I have decided to put the decoupage paper around the side of the board for now. So this is just a cheap canvas, and I'm going to just pop that paper around the side of the board. It does look very pretty when you do that. So the sun is behind my back, and there is nowhere else I can sit today with the amount of people and activity that's going on. So I'll do my best for you. So, okay, the heart in the middle of the decoupage paper there is from Tiny Treasures, and I showed you what I was using just for these little bits that I want on my canvas here. Okay, the little cat with the wings, that's nicely stuck. The decoupage paper is all nicely dry for us, which is fantastic. And there is a lovely piece of sari silk, and you can see that the Mod Podge has dried that beautifully. And there is a plane flying over and a dog barking, sorry. So, okay, so we're going to just fray that a little bit when the canvas is totally dry. So you do want any kind of ribbon. If you haven't got any sari silk ribbon, that's fine, because what we're going to do is we're going to just fray the ribbon with our fingers, okay? So we're just letting our canvas settle, and I'm going to put something else there. So just put another rose there, I think. This Tiny Treasures book is really, really pretty. I'm in the lounge room where it's nice and quiet and sunny, so hopefully the light will be better. So we're just going to pop a little rose on there and just push that in. Now you are putting paper or cardboard, you know, a cross between both, I'd say, onto fabric. So, you know, don't be too mean with your Mod Podge, because you don't want to do a lovely canvas and have everything fall off. So that's what we're going to do. And we all love roses. So with this kit, with these Tiny Treasures, you know, you get really beautiful roses, and that's why I bought it. Now I've just, as I said in my first video, that I've been making these blank, very cheap, just little doilies. So I just put some rice paper in the middle so they'd look even prettier. And I love paper doilies for making canvases with. So you'll probably change your mind a few times where you want bits and pieces, just like I'm doing here. So where am I going to put that? I haven't got a clue at this point, but I'll find a nice place for it. But I'm kind of sticking to the rose theme, and I'm sticking to the greens and the pinks because they're very vintage. So I don't know what gesso is. I believe it's a whitening thing, a whitening type of paste. But I'm just going to use paints. That's what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to use my paints that I have on hand. And if I need to make anything look white, I'll just use the white paint. Now I've got some very cheap paints. They're just watercolour paints. I think they cost me £1.99 on eBay. So just, you know, I'm not painting anything at the moment apart from what I'm doing here. In other words, I'm not going to be painting landscapes. So cheapy paints is great for this. So I'm going to use my Mod Podge. I thought I was upside down again, but I'm not. Okay, I must have got the camera in the right position this time. The sun's on my back and it's just lovely. So I'm going to stick that up there. And remember that when you put a napkin or decoupage paper over colour, it's going to go the slight same colour as what's underneath. So that's why I choose to put my paint above sometimes rather than below, so you can get a really good view at the decoupage paper. In other words, if you put decoupage paper on a black canvas, it's going to be a lot darker. So I'm just going to use my paints when and as I want them. Just use your own imagination, basically. That's what I'm going to do. There's no rules with this, and that's why I love to do canvases. My mum's got a few in her piano room that I've done. So I'm just going to put some Mod Podge on the back of there with a damp brush. That's a makeup brush that I keep for things like this. It's just a makeup brush that I clean when I've finished, and it does a great job. I mean, it does a good job on your face. So they say that the face is a blank canvas, don't they? So before you put your makeup on, I mean. So I'm just going to use this makeup brush because it's a cheapie as well. So I'm just going to put it there because I think that kind of goes with the canvas. Okay, now I'll probably pull that off now and put it straight for you. I do not use this on my face, by the way. This is just kept for Mod Podging, and I keep my brush nice and clean. And I've just put that straight for you there. So when I said, you know, the face being a blank canvas, I do not use this for my makeup, then use it for here. It would just be dreadful. So I'm going to put one of the homemade, if you like, little paper doilies on the other side. And I do apologise if you cannot see this, but I'll let you see it in just a second. I'm just basically pasting that up. I'll see if I can get it in for you. No, I can't, so I'm sorry, I can't get it in for you there. This is just a last minute tutorial that I was going to do anyway, and I thought I'd share it with you so we could do it together. But it's stuck really nicely on the other side. I know you can't see it, but I'll let you have a look in a minute. Okay, I've just got a plate and I'm going to put some Mod Podge. Our canvas is dried really quickly because it's so sunny and warm today in England. So I'm going to put on this plate a little bit of like a pinky colour. Because they're cheapy paints, it's not exactly pink, but I'm just going to pop that on there. And our canvas is super dry, so we don't have to worry about any damage from this plate. And then some white, which which will probably act as gesso in the end, a gesso effect. I'm not quite sure what people do with that. I'm quite happy with my own little world. And some Mod Podge, so I'll have to check out the gesso thing. So I'll just put a splodge on there of Mod Podge. And I've got some water as well in a jug. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of water there just to water that Mod Podge down just a little. But like I said, you've got to use Mod Podge either straight or with a tiny bit of water for canvases because they're, we don't want anything to flake off the wall. When it's hung on the wall, we don't want it, people to say, oh, that's nice, and then a rose fall on your head or something. We don't want that to happen. So, okay, I've just mixed it up and I'm going to put that around the bits on the canvas, and hopefully I've got it, you'll be able to see what I've done. I wasn't planning on doing this today, so I haven't set it up properly for you. With having hubby home and minding my daughter's dog, plus my two little tiny dogs, it's a bit difficult really. Every time there's a noise, they all bark. So I'm in the lounge room. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a wash over with the amount of Mod Podge you saw, which was a tiny little blip. And then, just paint over with the pinks. Because as I said, we want to keep our canvas a kind of a pinky colour. I always love getting my hands into the paint. I'm not bothered one bit about getting, my hands into the paint. That little blue rose there looking thing, that was from the Tiny Treasures book as well. So I stuck that there. Now they're incredibly expensive, these Tiny Treasure books. So I'm going to be reasonably sensible with the use of of them. But it looks like it's going to last forever. By this, it's huge. So I'm going to cut the doily up. There's the back of it. That's how I bought it. And I just used some napkin or some decoupage paper or something in the middle. You could use your old scraps. Don't throw away your napkin scraps and things like that, because you can use them in the middle of these very cheap paper doilies. And they do look spectacular, when you do them up. So what do you think we should... This is a big piece. This is a really big piece that I bought, and there's plenty of it, so it came as big as that. And rice paper doesn't usually come that big, but I paid a little bit extra for mine. So I loved the pattern. So I'm just going to roughly cut where I want it. You can rip it with your fingers if you want. Some rice paper does fray because it's thick, but this is a nice thin one, perfect for canvases. you know, but you can use anything on canvas, can't you? Absolutely anything. You can use whatever your heart desires. So I'm just going to put some lovely Mod Podge. I love Mod Podge. And I'm going to put this piece on there. Now I'm going to be mindful in putting it on there because I want it to hang over the sides, like I said before. So I'm going to have the sides, all around the sides of this canvas is going to be the paper. This lovely paper that I'm putting on there is going around the sides of the canvas as well. So I'll probably rip that off, will I? I don't know what I've done next. I'll just keep, yep, a little bit of colour. There we go, just to give it a bit of an interest. And like I said, we're sticking with the pale pinks. There's a bit of mauve-y kind of colour in that, isn't there? Like a little bit of a lilac-y colour, and that doesn't matter. And all paint dries a little bit lighter anyway, doesn't it? So just whack that in there. Now you won't see any of that by the time I've finished. You won't see any of that at all. So like I said, I've done some for my mum, and Mum taught herself to play the piano after my dad died. And so I did a music-themed one for her piano room, and she loved it. Then she wanted another one doing, and so I did a 2. So this canvas is approximately 12 by 10 or something, or I don't know, something along those lines. I'm going to cut out the rose and stick that on our canvas. So just roughly, you know, because there are no, like I said, there are no rules when it comes to mixed media. So a little bit more Mod Podge, and we need it for a canvas, don't we? So just pop it there. And there is a little bit of colour on the brush, which is great. So we're just going to add that there. And just, you know, you might change your mind 5 times, like I'm doing. But whatever you think looks good, you just do it. It's your canvas, your taste when you're doing this. So, you know, don't worry about it. Just put it where you want to put it. And if you pull it off 5 times and it's wet enough, don't worry about that either. So I'm just going over the doily there, which is great because you'll be able to see the doily come through the paper, because we want some, you know, we want ridges and we want little bits and pieces. We want some fraying going on of the ribbon, and we want some interest in this canvas. We don't just want it to be flat and a boring old canvas. So you want to bring it to life, and that's what we're going to do towards the end. So just push your rose onto there with your brush, and it's all turning out quite sweet. I think I'm just cleaning my brush off there for another go. So a bit more of the of this little bit of white there, and there you go. Look, it's already starting to look super pretty, and you know, a bit more. What do you think? A bit more pink in between these holes here, in spaces, whatever they're called. I'm really sorry that I can't get the whole canvas in for you, but what I'm going to do is in part 3, I'll be very mindful of where this canvas is and where the camera is, so you'll be able to see a lot more of the board. But you're kind of getting what I'm, you know, where we're going with this. But I will make sure that in part 3 that you definitely see the whole board. Like I said, this was not supposed to happen today, so this was just something I was going to do on my own. But I thought, no, I'll bring the ladies into this, or gentlemen, ladies, whoever's watching, and we can kind of do it together. Just boil the kettle for a cup of tea. Okay, what you need to do is you need to be sticking your rice paper or your whatever you're using, whether it be napkins or rice paper, onto the sides of your canvas. Okay, I'm just going to brush up here with a little bit of Mod Podge and add some more rice paper. Running out of time here, so please join me for part 3.